Well, that's the next conversation we're having this morning. And to have that, we have Oji Uchenna Oji, who is Commissioner for Information and State Orientation in Ebonyi State. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
A lot has been happening in Ebonyi. Is that correct?
Very correct.
What's happening? Or rather, maybe, well, since you've been here quite a number of times, so what's new?
Yeah, I can say that it's been a very wonderful moment of continued harvest of democracy dividends in Ebonyi State, from human capital to infrastructure, from good governance in all ramifications to effective and robust leadership that will continue to put Ebonyi on top among the committee of states in the nation. But let me talk about the recent, performance index that we have garnered since 2001 to date. The Budget Office made an assessment looking at the federal allocation that every state is receiving. We call it State of State Performance Index, cutting across the 36 states of the Federation. So this organization looked at the federal allocation, transparency, accountability, of course, in issue of our physical performance. And of course, in doing that, they looked at other variables and other organizations like Bureau of Statistics, and of course, Debt Management Office, foreign and local debt, as concerns other states. Ebonyi State came first in 3 cases. In the issue of prudent allocation of scarce resources, which is what economically politics means. Ebonyi State came first among the states of the Federation. Ebonyi State, that was created in 1996, was still having the lowest federal allocation, one of the 3 states. Now, again, in the area of transparency, accountability, and the area of prudent deployment of scarce resources, Ebonyi came first. Then in the area of investment in capital projects, looking at recurrent expenditure and capital expenditure, Ebonyi State came first. Now, in overall rating, in all ramifications of physical performance, Ebonyi State came second among the 36 states of the Federation. Now, looking at the viability based on economic facilities on ground by the current governments in all jurisdictions, Ebonyi State government came fourth. Number 4, in the whole Federation, looking at self-reliance in terms of empowerment, job creation, Ebonyi State came first. That is number 4. And now, when you go to the area of health, World Bank in 2018, even though it's no longer a recent analysis, made what they call a State of State index, health index. And Ebonyi State is said to be above average in terms of health development in Ebonyi State. In the area of education, of course, you know that before the governor came on board, we are quite educationally less privileged. That is our tag. That was our status. But when the governor came on board, just 2 years after he came on board, we are lifted. Today, we are no longer among the educationally less privileged states. We are among the first best 10 states in WAEC, one of the best states in the area of NUC assessment on education. For instance, in 2017, the NUC made an assessment.
Mr. Oji, is this all proven?
It's proven.
Where can we get information
that
verifies all this?
I'm referring to the organizations responsible, the dates. The Budget Office of 2021, if you go to Abuja, Ministry
No, I'm talking about the education one.
On education, yes. If you go to NUC Index of 2017, made an assessment about the local government in the whole Federation that has the highest number of undergraduates. Do you know the local government that came first? Ebonyi State. Out of 774...
You said local government. Ebonyi State is not a local government.
Local government in Ebonyi, so that is equal local government.
Equal?
To the credit of Ebonyi State, that's why I said Ebonyi State came first. Now, in the area of the best medical student who schooled in one of the schools in Nigeria, particularly in Ebonyi State, somebody from Ebonyi State who schooled in Ebonyi came first. in JAMB. So these are indicators showing that we are doing quite a lot. But then let's go to what actually that government has done to warrant all of this. I can tell you that before 2015, we have got nothing like roads. We were the lowest, most rejected, most neglected. But today, after Lagos and Abuja, we are the best. You may say, which organization has said this? But you need to come to Ebonyi State.
Even if you say so yourself.
Oh, my God. So all you need to do is to come to Ebonyi State, then you appreciate all of this. Again,
Mr. Oji, let's look at the IGR of Ebonyi State. We've got figures that show that the IGR went up by 82.3% in 2 years. How was that achieved?
It was achieved by the shared dint of hard work, by prudency, by zero tolerance for waste and for corruption. Our governor is a man of ingenuity. So when he came on board, he saw we had a lot of leakages. We had areas where we were not harnessing our IGR. So the governor had to block all the leakages. Of course, try to automate some of our revenue generation points. And that actually started to really gather momentum in our revenue generation propensity. And so as I speak with you, like you did say, we went from 0 in terms of index to 80% as it were. So it doubled more than 2 times what we were collecting before the governor came on board. And I can tell you also that it is also born out of the sheer need to deliver the dividends of democracy to the people. The governor is a very selfless leader. We believe that if you must work with him, you must prepare to make sacrifice. You must prepare to work the way he's working, to give the people of the state the best. And so everybody who is coming, if you are a contractor, if you are involved in the revenue collection process, you must prepare to tighten your belt, not to earn what doesn't belong to you. So that is actually the secret behind that. And the legislations also were made to ensure that all of these things are harmonized. There is no issue of a double taxation regime in Ebonyi State. So it is easy. It is convenient. Of course, collection process is through e-process. And of course, you know that we also enjoy e-governance in Ebonyi State. And so these are the contributory factors. Again, the fact that Ebonyi State aggressively was developed, under 6 years of the governance of our dear governor, made it possible for transporters. If you are going to Cross River, if you are going to Benue State, if you are going to Abia State, even if you are coming from Enugu, you would like to pass through Ebonyi, because you can be sure that any part you are going, from Ebonyi, you can be sure you first of all enjoy a wonderful road. Or if you are coming through Ebonyi or to Ebonyi, you can be sure that the moment you enter into Ebonyi State, you'll be greeted with dualized road in all the federal roads. And again, flyovers will welcome you from every point of the boundary, whether Abia, Enugu, Cross River, Benue, and all of that. And so this has made transporters to enjoy flying through Ebonyi State.
Mr. Oji, I recall on one of your visits to us, you had pictures of Ebonyi State and all those beautiful fountains at your junctions and roundabouts. My question to you now is, some literature about Nigeria still states Nigeria as a place where there's hardly potable water. Is there potable water in Ebonyi State? And what has the government been doing about providing potable water for the people?
Thank you. You have asked this question the other time, and it's good you're asking it again. Let me say that the government of Ebonyi State has been doing a lot to ensure that social amenities are provided, apart from road, light. We can't fix the power, but the governor has fixed the street lights such that it has also increased nightlife and trade. And so for water, I can say that the government is doing a lot to rehabilitate our water facilities. The Ezilo water scheme, the Alfarepe water scheme, started by the last administration, the Okao water scheme. They are being revamped as I speak with you, and we are beginning to gradually reticulate the various parts of the metropolis, such that when it is fully reticulated, it can be sure that water will be found fully in Ebonyi State. But obviously, a lot of investment has been made in ensuring that we get water. But don't forget that Ebonyi State is peculiar in terms of the geophysics of the area, and that has really affected the issue of borehole. Even though we are investing a lot in putting borehole for the rural communities, but it has actually affected the water situation in Ebonyi State. But I think that before the governor bows out, that we are going to make a great difference in that regard.
Okay. Speak to us about security. Security is what protects businesses, protects investments. So we just a few days ago, we understand that some consultants to Ebonyi State government talked about government now being aware of those who are behind the insecurity. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, let me say that a very proactive and responsible government, as we have in Ebonyi State, we always try to go beyond managing security situation to go into preventive measures. And in going into preventive measures, you look at intelligence. And that is the very essence of the creation of Ebubagu. Apart from the fact that the people of the Southeast said they needed a common security outfit for the Southeast. But the state government also felt that there is need to really enhance the security measures in the state. And so Ebubagu was constituted under the law of 2021 last year. And part of the mandate of Ebubagu is to gather information, to document information, to analyze data on security issues, to collaborate with conventional security agencies. So I can tell you that in all of these things, we have also found out that non-state actors actually contributed to the recent insecurity that we are having before now. As I speak with you, we've done a lot to really tame that kind of situation. What government is doing is to ensure our engagement. We don't believe that militarization is all there is for you to contend with or to curtail insecurity in a place. But engagement, talking to the collective sensibilities of the people concerned, not just the actors, some of them are just street boys, but also our stakeholders, religious leaders, town union leaders, of course, community leaders, to see how they can talk to their subjects or their words. And that has really made an impact. Today, as I speak with you, Ebonyi is a very peaceful state, doesn't have the kind of situation that we hear in other climes. For instance, on Mondays, we go about our business because the actors have understood that the only way to appreciate this governor that has done fantastically well is not to destroy the facilities, whether public or private. It's not also to destroy lives. And that is why we are having the kind of peace that we are having. For those that are really finding embers of hate, embers of insecurity, we are actually tracing them, and we are looking at inflammatory publications that are capable of aggravating situations of violence and maybe communal disturbances. So those people that are really going through social media to give false information, fake news, with a bid to plunging communities into crisis, we are gradually surrounding or rather rounding them off. And of course, through our law on fake information, that is cybercrime law, we are doing a lot to contend with those elements. We call them enemies of government, yes, enemies of the state, those who do want the progress that we have made to endure. And let me mention that a state that has made a record as a state with the biggest shopping mall, as a state with the highest number of flyovers.
The whole idea of talking about, my apologies, Mr. Oji, the whole idea of talking about the security is to protect those investments that you've talked about. Now, one of the issue that you may want to speak to concerning security as well is what happened between the border communities of Ebonyi and Benue State about a week ago. The Senate, spoke to that, situation as well that claimed many lives across the divide. What exactly happened in that regard?
Yeah, I am sure I've not been fully briefed about the very point you're making. We've had recently a case of, our attack on security officials. We've had a little case of child trafficking, some of which we misunderstood. There was a case of child trafficking that was discovered in Ogun State, and it was traced to Ebonyi State. But media did misunderstand it by saying that it occurred in Ebonyi, but it actually occurred in Benue. But the subjects, the victims are from Ebonyi, and of course the suspect is also from Ebonyi State. The case of Benue, Ebonyi State happened in the past, and I can tell you that one of them was a case of Ebonians living in the borders of Benue State, by virtue of the geographical definition of that area, is said to be an axis of Benue State. So they had a clash, and that is the zone of Senator David Mark, and they had a clash, and I mean, some attackers went and attacked those Ebonians living in Benue State, and as I speak with you, the situation is under control. But if there is any recent one, as in a fresh one, I am not aware of that.
Well, this is something that happened last week. I don't know if it's the same. The Senate spoke to it last week between the Eza and Effium people of Benue and Ebonyi states.
Yeah, I think you are getting it wrong, very, very wrong. Eza, Effium and Effium are all in Ebonyi State, or Huku local government area in Ebonyi State. They have had an age-long, close to 100 years of land dispute, but unfortunately, because of activities of some politicians within the place, the matter got aggravated, and it led to the destruction of lives and properties. And up to now, the situation has been a bit checkered. But I can say that the governor has been actually on top of the matter, getting to the root of the matter. Those responsible for that crisis have been cracked down, and some of them are with the police, and some have been prosecuted. Some are in the police net as I speak with you. The only situation there is that they are not from the same kind of clan, and so they are having issue of ownership, on dispute on ownership of that land. But it's something that you need to take some measures that will not rather aggravate the situation. The measures will be to appeal to their conscience, to lay down their arms, no matter what has been done, the oil that has been spilled. And so that is just the situation. So it's not a Benue-Ebonyi issue, it's just within Ebonyi State.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The COVID-19 exposed the underbelly of the health sector in Nigeria. And at that time that we were all locked in our various countries and nobody could travel, even the rich and mighty could not leave the country for medical attention. And that led many Nigerians to believe that COVID is going to make governments, state governments, pay more attention to the health sector, because the poor man, the rich man, we were all stuck here. Nobody could go anywhere to seek medical attention. So I think the media has been looking, very closely at this sector and wondering why no huge steps are being taken in the health sector all over the country, so that we're not caught napping again like we did during COVID.
Yeah, perhaps the case is different in Ebonyi State. Yeah, before 2015, we had issues of deficit in a healthcare delivery system. Both the primary healthcare, the secondary and the tertiary healthcare facilities in Ebonyi State were in a state of shambles before the governor came on board. But when he came on board, he identified health as very critical. For you to even be educated, you need to be healthy. For you to talk about pursuing your means of livelihood, you need to be healthy. That is why, apart from creating the Ministry apart from the establishment of the Ministry of Health, which was strengthened by our governor when he came on board, he also created the Ministry of Human Capital Development, and one of its mandate is to ensure for the nutrition of our young pupils. And so health is critical. So what did the governor do? The governor has to really establish access road to the existing facilities. Now he had to ensure that every ward has primary healthcare facility, every ward 171 wards in the state. Now he had to renovate those ones that were in shambles. Now across the 30 local government, 171 wards of the state. Each of the local government has a functional general hospital somewhere in existence, but when he came, he had to revamp them and make them to be functional. Of course, had to really send medical personnel. Now, in addition to that, the governor also had to give a lot of attention to tertiary healthcare service delivery in Ebonyi State. So today, as I speak with you, we not only have COVID-19 Center of Excellence that is the first in the Southeast, we had to decentralize the operations to the various zones of the state, the 3 zones. So we have units, COVID-19 centers of excellence in the 3 zones. We also have what is called a virology center that does tackle the issue of Lassa fever. Before the governor came on board, it was part of the problem of Ebonyi State. It was like the guinea worm of Ebonyi at that time. So when he came on board, what did he do? First of all, he had to establish the virology center, which is still the first and only in the Southeast and one of the 2 best in the whole federation. And that virology center has done a lot to tackle issues of Lassa fever. Now, the issue of other tertiary healthcare facilities. Do you know we have Africa's biggest University of Medical Sciences? The governor did conceptualize, the governor did build, the governor got approval. Today, as I speak with you, that university is going on the best, most beautiful university in the whole of Africa. And it's going to be a center of excellence.
Are those pictures from the teaching hospital?
No, that is one of the medical facilities in Ebonyi State. And I think this is the virology center. Then we have also the centers for the treatment of heart diseases, cancer, liver problems. And there's going to be a center of excellence for the production of dialyzers. No any other country in Africa has that kind of facility, except Ebonyi State. Is now about to start, but their school has started. So it's going to be providing the educational need and the health care need of the people of Nigeria. Now, we also have what is called a School of Nursing and Midwifery. The idea of government is that apart from getting all these facilities in place, we have to really get the personnel that will drive those facilities. So this is aimed at producing nurses, midwives that will help in attending to medical needs of the people of Nigeria and Africa. Of course, we have School of Health, but that is also aimed at raising health officials that will be serving in all of these healthcare service center. And I have told you World Bank made an analysis in 2018 and said that we are above, but after all, that we are even much more than that of federal government healthcare index.
So is there, forgive me for this, I'm just going to have to ask it, is there a policy of government in Ebonyi State that says every public officer must patronize government facilities?
It does depend on your conception and perception.
Because, I mean, especially when you say that, it's the best in Africa.
Yeah, it is the best in terms of the way and manner it is established. In terms of the facilities, in terms of the objectives, it's the best. And it's for Nigeria, and it's for Africa, and it's for the world. And the government is trying to work with the private sector to drive the management of those facilities, especially the University of Medical Sciences. Government has
so operationally, would you say the same? Are we approaching, struggling to get to the best as well operationally? Because the infrastructure is one, operating it, that's another thing already.
Yeah, that is why the policy direction of government is that all of these critical facilities, not only that University of Medical Sciences, the shopping mall, the international airport, and some other facilities, including the national market, that the individual persons, corporate bodies need to really manage them. And so what government does is to involve the private sector through public-private partnership deal. And that is the way to go to ensure sustainability, to ensure enhancement of revenue generation process and employment processes.
But Mr. Oji, I have not spoken to my question about Is there a government policy concerning patronage by public office holders in the government?
Yeah, let me tell you that patronage is very important. It's as a matter of patriotism. Through our policy and through our political culture, our idea is that if you are a government official, you don't need to fly out of the country. You need to patronize the local facilities. That is the only way we can guarantee self-confidence. That is the way we can also make others to appreciate that it is working.
Need to or should?
Yeah, what I'm saying is that we have a policy that does suggest that we must patronize our local content.
Okay.
But then traditionally too, people are known for their honor and integrity. If you must say you have this, you must try to lead by example by, going around it. And so by a policy direction of government, every office holder is meant to really go to those facilities to assess medication. And,
do you use those facilities?
Yes, we use that.
You personally?
Oh, my God. Unfortunately, I'm a village man. I use whatever is made locally. So I use it.
Okay. I'm going to leave it there. Okay, but speak to us about this other thing that I believe it's government also that did it, the Ebonyi health insurance program. Because I ask this one because all of the human capital development, economic development, and all these figures that you have been talking about would be nothing if we don't have a strong enough human capital, healthy human capital in the state to take on these things. And I understand that last year there was 100 million naira counterpart funding for the health insurance scheme in Ebonyi State.
Yeah,
how is that going?
Yeah, even though I don't have much details about the operations, I know in the first place the governor had to cause the establishment of that healthcare insurance scheme. And we are trying to start with the civil servants. Of course, there are very fundamental contributions they have to make. So I think the government caused the leadership of the labor union to engage with all the beneficiaries, though that will be beneficiaries of that scheme, to ensure that they appreciate the need to be part of that scheme. And so thereafter, all the civil servants will be made to be beneficiaries of that scheme, and that same thing is going to be applicable with the rural communities through the local government chairmen, through what we call the coordinators of development centers. So they are going to make their counterpart contributions to ensure that health insurance is given to all persons, especially the civil servants, and of course the poor men and women in the rural communities. Of course, for public servants, it's a matter of policy that they should also patronize the scheme.
Well, lastly, how ready is Ebonyi State for business? I ask that, please not just the figures now, but operationally on the grounds in Ebonyi State. What's the ease of doing business scheme in the state? How easy is it to do business in Ebonyi State?
Yeah, we are looking holistically and comprehensively at all those factors that will make for ease of doing business. Infrastructure is very important, and legislations are also very important. And automation of revenue generation processes, very important, and also giving tax holidays and all of that. But importantly, security is also very critical, and we have had a lot of advantages in all of these areas that I have mentioned. That is why, as I speak with you, a lot of investors are indicating interest to come to Ebonyi State. On the 1st of March, I'm not advertising for them, the computer village in Lagos will be coming to Ebonyi State to flag off to lay foundation for a computer village in Ebonyi State. We have Ibeto Cement.
In which city?
In the capital city, within the metropolis. And we have Ibeto Cement Industry. We have pharmaceutical company that has indicated interest to invest $5 million US. We have a lot of companies that are springing up in Ebonyi State. The idea is that given the facilities put in place by the governor, making the Ebonyi state to be the most beautiful, the most secured state after Lagos and Abuja. So investors, whether home and abroad, can be sure that because of our airport, the international airport, which is factored out after Abuja and Lagos, they can fly to Ebonyi state and they wouldn't have any issue about insecurity.
Absolutely.
To be on a minimal basis.
Oji Uchenna Oji, it's always a pleasure to talk to you whenever you come on this program. He's Commissioner for Information and State Orientation. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So it's the, what do you call it now?
The home stretch.
The home stretch. After now. Stay with us.